Hello, Gemini. This is Joy with Joy to the World, here to take an intuitive peek into the energies going on around you. Glad to have you back if you're already a subscriber. And if you're not, consider subscribing. Click the button down there. And if you'd like to know anytime I post new videos, ring that bell. At the end of this video, if you find that you've liked it enjoyable or entertaining, make sure you give it a big thumbs up and share with your friends. Okay, so for now, we have a circle of life showing up here, with you straight up at the center at the start in number 1 with peace, gorilla. Okay, you've got new horizons going on ahead of you, and you're wanting, well, let's just keep peeking. You're wanting to kind of, you're saying poke the cookie. Well, I know that's kind of rude, but we can go on there. You're wanting to provoke some things. You're wanting to see what is beneath it, behind it, around it, beside it, that type of thing. You're wanting some perspective, wanting to be able to gain some insight and clarity into that. So you've showed up at a good place. You have drawn this rune card, and you're saying flip sides of the coin. So in it, you're wanting to see both sides, which is very Gemini. That would make total sense. You're saying do it quickly. You want to see what you might not be seeing yourself, okay? And then new horizons, expose, contemplation, review, examine, non-action, transform. Thus the gateway. And that's what you're sitting at here. You're at this gateway. You're at the precipice. You're looking out over the horizon, about to make your decision about how to descend and move forward on this earthly plane. You gave me a little... Hang on. You gave me, where did you go, little one? Okay. Sitting up our top. You gave me a little insight with this card coming in. It says start forgiving, and you'll think, what? I don't know what you're talking about, Joy. And it says seeds of tomorrow, here today. And as you can see on this card, it's flip sides of the coin, right? The words, you're on one side of the window, and in one area, you're in the other, right? Being able to see it from both perspectives. Well, this forgiving isn't like forgiving yourself, forgiving somebody else. That forgiving really has to do with opening to the flow of love. It's being able to use this gift of what's here, foresight, right? Hindsight 2020, like this year, as we're seeing, is like, whoa, okay, I should have been doing this, should have been doing that. I should have cleaned this up, dealt with this by now, that sort of thing. But foresight, like an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. That's what the forgiveness is talking about. It's this foresight, taking the time to look out over the horizons. You're saying kind of you want to play devil's advocate, which makes sense. I'm a Capricorn sun. You want to play devil's advocate and see both flip sides of the coin to weigh out the energies and begin to get a feel of what they're like. The Two of Pentacles, Two of Coins, you're saying you want to mull it over in your mind. You're wanting to mouth feel it. Like babies, toddlers, they put things in their mouth and they feel it around because it moves it across the palette of the mind so that your mind can get a feel for what these energies are, where you are going and where they're coming in. I definitely feel like I have to start with this card because you're pointing to the 1 o'clock. So we're not starting it straight at midnight. And no, there aren't 12 cards, but anyways... Will there be? Who even knows? Let's just step in. 26, Ancestors, Polar Bear. So you've been a little bit defensive about this. Well, you're telling me you've been a little snotty. Kind of like, but I mean, that's very Gemini. You're so human, right? And you have double human, dunamis power. You have twin power. And so it's kind of like, well, why? Why should I do that? It's wanting to push the boundaries and the limits of things, but that is messing with your Jupiter. That is, you only have so much that you can poke that, as you're saying, cookie. It's almost like fortune cookie is what you're talking about. You're wanting to like pull out the wisdom without breaking the cookie. Why are you trying to filch somebody else's fortune? What's that about? Huh? Which is why, see, you didn't want to start with this top card, the wisdom, right? The owl. How that goes about as you're interacting and you're saying you're divining with life, you're creating and conjugating just through your thought, through your movement, that, well, hell is frozen over. You made your home there. You're not necessarily willing to move forward and to move on because you don't like where you came from. Why is that a problem? I don't know. What you've learned, what you've had to know, it's kind of made you a little bit cynical. And for some of you, a little bit sinister. And sinister isn't like dastardly, like maniacal. It's a little bit like wanting to do a lot of the work with your mind and having that depth perception as an advantage over others. Not necessarily to their harm, but that you can see how things are going to play out with ever really having to take a risk and put yourself out there. That type of way, okay? So just bear with me on this, and we're going to see how we're going to get this love flowing into you again. Maybe it's that, putting a blow dryer on this, heating it up, melting off that ice, getting it out of the way, allowing you to create some movement, some forward movement of making some peace with where you come from and who you are. Because in that forward movement, you'll begin to know what it is about. Yes, others have told you so much, and you don't want to have to do it their way. You want to be original. You want it your own way, and that is fine. It's like you are a branch from that tree, like you're a pear from the pear tree. That doesn't mean you have to do it the way your parent did, or your relative, or your brother, or whoever else, your sister. But it means that you do need to step into who you are. Don't have a problem with who you are. Step on in there and begin to live out loud. Begin to grow intimate with yourself. Begin to know how it looks in you. And that's part of your concern, is you don't want it to look like them. Why there's a bit of a grudge, that would make sense. This forgiving, this loving yourself is going to begin to thaw that out. It's going to begin to warm your heart. And that warmth is going to make these seeds sprout up. And these seeds, as you can see, are in the eye. They're in the soul. And you'll begin to see what you're here for. And you'll have a bit more patience, that type of understanding in yourself. Like a bit of forbearance with others. Of giving them, not the benefit of the doubt, but really giving them freedom for their own journey. Okay? And then down beneath it, we have the Ace of Wands. So down inside, you can't deny the seed that is in you. Again, like the pear, it's that seed. You come from that tree, but there's been, there's denial of it. I paint this any other way, but the cards are still going to say what they're going to say, and you're like shaking your head like, no, 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 no. So we're just moving through the resistance here. We're moving through the resistance. You would almost blood stain your own hands to be different. You would trade your bloodline. Why? Why? We know Geminis have chosen a hard path coming in. And hard isn't necessarily difficult. That's what mountains are made of. Look what you're sitting on here. You're sitting on rock, on stone. That's how you got so high. That's how you got to this place of this magical, magnificent perspective that you get. This foresight, and therefore, yes, there is an added responsibility to you. Now, mind you, each zodiac, each sign, each person comes in with like relative population, right? So per capita, that type of thing is when they measure population, you can measure density. So what they're dealing with is it dense and heavy for them as this responsibility is for you, okay? So you can't be wishing off on somebody else to be somebody else or whatever else, because you would have to live their whole life. And everybody faces their own challenges, their own weights, their own burdens. And the thing is to begin to live instead of being defensive about it and up in arms about it. Begin to let this majesty soar, rise up, get going. Get going. I'm gonna get a Bianco, I think that's what they're called, Nero. Let's get something for this Ace of Wands here to give us a little more. Okay, there you are. Four Swords. Healing from this. Healing from this, and specifically in this mindset. You've been trying to hide it for so long. I have to say what's there, y'all. I wish I could change it, but you're thinking you're better than them. And not like putting other people down, but in a sense you could say it like, I'm better than that. I'm better than that. I'm better than that. But often what can happen, what you're letting me know here, is what can happen is when we're in denial and shut down about something, you can find yourself repeating the exact same behaviors and patterns that those that came before you did. Like somebody who comes from a parent with a tremendous temper can end up having just as nasty of a temper and become the very thing that they said they wouldn't. Or for others, oh, haha, you become the polar opposite. And let me tell you, you're still on the seesaw. You know, so laziness is one side, over responsibility is the other. They're the same. They're just at opposite ends of the spectrum, and they cause as much harm. Each of them do. And you need to begin to work, move, and live and see what comes up out of you. Don't, you're saying don't waste your life on being in opposition of who you are and where you come from. Give the people the grace to be who they are, and that you do know better, but in that knowing better, it's not running away or being in the opposition of what they are. That type of a saying that you're better than that is saying that I know better, so I'm going to do better. But a lot of times our decision of better is the polar opposite. And that's what you need to know here. So I'm glad we're looking at the flip side of that coin so that you can go, now you can go, no way, I won't do that. So, you know, if you come from someone who's very angry, you need to know that anger is not the issue. Their control of themselves with their anger was the issue. That way you're allowed to know when you feel angry, because often we get angry when our lines have been crossed or we've been offended by somebody taking advantage of us, or just simply through some injustice in life. And when you begin to tell your own self that you can't experience that anger because anger is AKA wrong or bad, or in this case, we're better than that, then your body will store that pain away in different areas of your body, and you won't even know what it is or where it's coming from. Trust me on this. Okay, so anger is in of itself not a problem. It is your body's way of letting you know that you're overheating, that there's too much pressure, that there's something going on, the alarms are going off. And so you can have your anger, you just don't act out in anger. You don't act on that anger. You don't lash. You don't do those sort of things. There are ways to healthily move through the anger to process it. You know, for some of you, it may be exercise. It may be, you know, diffusing the bomb, giving it a little time to dissipate and to play out before you begin to talk with the person or the situation about that, right? You'll let it fizzle out and calm down so that the energy of that anger isn't there, and then you can begin to discuss what really is at heart so that it doesn't become volatile. Okay, I hope this is making sense. And then next we have the Nine of Wands. So apparently for some of you it is anger. There are lots of wands, lots of heat going on here. It could just be you resisting so strongly, but hey, we did want a blow dryer to unfreeze hell, right? To get you out of there from having to be that polar opposite, to be on the defense with your own self, with your own truth inside. Okay, Gorilla is smiling. He's like, you see why I got my back turned? Because I need you to be able to tell them face to face, tell them straight, and tell them how it is. This mask that they've been having to carry, this burden that has had to go with us all the way up the mountain. I don't want to take it into my future. I don't want to take in this beautiful new world that is your world now. Because if you're watching this, you're over 18 and you're living your own life now. And that's that thing, to have the freedom. Because here, the gorilla lets us know you have power. And this gorilla is a silverback, so you have maturity as well. You have authority. You are a leader, okay? And as a leader, people are going to follow your example. You don't have to be a parent to be a leader. You know, the relatives, the people where you came from, you make your mark on others around you by the charisma, the dynamic of who you are. Geminis are often leaders. They carry a very strong political vein. So political, you know, it could be politics or it could be policy. It's the way things are handled and how things are navigated. So people look to you to see this flip side of the coin, right? To see both sides of the issue. But that doesn't mean you have to be relegated to life on the seesaw, which means AKA miserable. No more misery for you. You're here to be delightful, free, fantastic, healthy, happy, Gemini. You're here to be human, to be able to express and be in truth with those emotions with yourself, but not have to act out of emotions, to be able to navigate and mull through them and move through them and act out of choice, but be honoring of your own feelings, okay? So here with the Nine of Wands, that's how you feel right about now. You see it? You see the ferocity going on here? But look at how you really feel about it, okay? It's okay. You're really cool with that. You say, I'm cool with that. I'm down with that. It's okay that I'm going to have these feelings. So we're moving through this energy, which is fantastic. I love that you're coming to peace with that. But in this, distress, a warning against self-harm. Okay, don't be your own undoing. So the wisdom in this card is to not tear yourself up about it. Don't judge yourself. That's what's going on here. Don't get in that judgment of yourself, of starting that wheel, turning again, and just repeating what it is you're seeking to escape, to not be a part of anymore. So I would say, look at this person back behind you. This is your true self going, okay, it's okay. Like, I like that you can't, well, you can see her other hand. She's lifting up the golden standard, the golden rule. Okay. When you feel like this, take a closer look. You see that? That is full on. You are up in my space. You have offended me. You have triggered me. And this is what I'm made of. But that intensity has turned on yourself. But what she's saying here, the wisdom in the card is saying, treat others the way you'd want to be treated. But in this case, she's saying it for you as well. Be as good to yourself as you are with others. You know, your friends, Geminis have gaggles of friends, right? So just as patient, kind, loving, and understanding that you are with your friends, let that same love, let that same river flow to you, okay? That's necessary in order to be true, to be the truth, to have that firm foundation that is the symbol of the Gemini, right? So let's get a clarifier. Oh, okay, it's right here. The clarifier is the Ace of Wands. All right, give yourself permission. Give yourself permission to be good to yourself, and watch you begin to grow. Watch you really begin to move beyond this energy, and see what you're really made of. See the seed, because what you saw was a distortion. It was a location. It was an environment, and it was people's response to that environment. You are your own environment. You are your own person. So this seed, let it be. Let it spring forth. Let yourself see what it is. And as you're seeing here, that there's no need to sweat the small stuff. No need to be bothered if you get triggered. To just allow yourself to receive the grace and the forgiveness for yourself of seeing things for what they really are. And begin to let that, I just keep hearing dissipate. Let it dissipate. Let it play out. Let it play out. When you don't add new fuel to the fire, it eventually will play out. And that's what you're telling me about this energy of moving it back and forth. That's more oxygen. It's aerating it and it's stirring it up. They're saying just let it, calm down. Calm down. Calm down. Calm down, and you'll be able to see what is on the horizon for you, okay? What you're here for, some of your purpose, all right? And then life begins to have its meaning. So as life begins to have its meaning, okay, so you are calming down. You're like, well, I'll just take a dip then. If I am the lotus or the water lily, I'm just going to get in this bog, and I'm going to soak, and I'm going to saturate and be like some butter. I'm just going to melt all up in this thing. I'm going to let myself cool down a bit until I'm done. Until I'm done. And that's wisdom there, I tell you. To be able to let it fizzle and play out. So in this, I would think that when you have anger, when you have this provoking, this stirring up, this, you're, okay, that was you. Because you're like, when I'm being played, when people are playing me, you do not like anyone playing you, because that means they think you are stupid. You do not like that, and so that can stir you up like this more than anything, and it makes you turn on yourself, because there's some, I say, lashing out. But here you begin to find a way to chill, to relax, to dive down deep, to make peace with it, and you stay here until you are done. Now, as we can see, you're not fully done because you just got one eye peeping out, but you're almost done. You're so done, you're almost hard again, okay? Let's see what we got for that hardness of the King of Cups here. coming in for Gemini? What is guiding us into the peace with the gorilla? That's too many. All right. Give us some word on this King of Cups. Okay, thank you. The Queen of Pentacles. All right. You're still reserving a bit of your judgment. And not revenge, like acting out kind of revenge, but it's more like, you know, I got my eye on you. It's like when that happens, those people don't earn your trust again. So I would say here, don't stay between worlds. Either they're in your world or they're out of your world. You're letting me know that doesn't serve you well to stay between these worlds, because then you begin to miss out on the beauty of life, the savoriness of life, and no longer participating in it the way you do because you're having to be on guard. You know, that's one thing you do have permission over, is who is a part of your life and who isn't. And you know, if people cross that line one too many times, and once may be one too many times, if that's where you're at now, then keep moving right along. You have the permission, the ability to do that. You have the power to control your environment, and that can be other people's attitudes around you. You can't control their attitudes, but you can control who gets to be around you, right? You have the permission over that. So give yourself that authority. Next, when we move from that King of Cups, so giving yourself that authority, it's very interesting that the Emperor steps on in. He sees it clearly. He is like the other eye of this guy, okay? He's saying he got the good eye, like James Brown, you get on the good foot. Let's see. Oh, yeah, he's smiling. He loves that. You know, you could do a little ecstatic dance. You could crank some tunes up in your house sometimes. Okay, so they're letting me know that you get done with not just individuals, but people all the time, because the shenanigans that people are concocting, thinking that you can't see, know, feel, like you're not, you walk in your divine nature, but all humans actually have it, just so many people aren't operating in it, and you're like, yeah, I know, and I see it, and it wears me out, and I'm tired of seeing it. So what you're letting me know here with this Emperor is take some time to be alone. This is when you're your most powerful and your most strong, and it gets you squared off back on your feet, like it levels out your throne. And your throne is that place where you don't have to explain yourself. You don't have to watch out for yourself. You don't have to be like the Hierophant or the diplomat or, you know, the high priestess or the magician, any of those energies. It's where the whole, you're saying charade, when all the facade, all the charade, excuse me, that's how I say it, can fall down to the ground. You can be nearly naked. Your nakedness is your robe of sorts. It is your royalty, your regalness. There are no games having to be played, which you didn't like. Look here. You don't like the games, those games. It's a place where you're safe and you trust yourself. And it's important to come to, you're saying ground zero, to the baseline, to be able to come back there, to start. You think about it in tennis, you have to get to that baseline in order to serve. That's where it starts again. So just instead of wearing yourself out for weeks and weeks on end, because I'm seeing like a journey playing, just take it on a day-by-day basis. Hit a reset every day. Go to that baseline every day and start again. Start that renewal process. Be divine in yourself and give yourself the glory. Let yourself move through the story a bite at a time. That's how you eat the elephant. That's what you saying, you smart you. You're so smart, you. All right, so let's get you're saying kind of a qualifier here, not necessarily a clarifier, but hello. Oh, there you are. Thank you. Yeah, reiteration. They're saying, in case you didn't hear her the first time, look at this. Look at this. That's when you begin to get your eyesight back, your clarity, your depth perception of how to proceed and how to move forward. That's when you restore who you are. It's just like your phone. When you do this, you're plugging in your phone, which is your star. It's your communication device and your tool. It is that center point between the eyes. It is your pineal gland, thus letting the smoke clear. And that's when you can see, because look, you can see the clouds here. That cloudiness, your mind just gets so, you're saying staticky. There's so much charge in it that it produces that, that cloudiness, that mist, that fog. That, like you're saying brain brain fatigue. Your brain just gets weary and tired of all that processing, because it's like Hooper. You're like Hooper processing in your mind, okay? And so just take that downtime. And for some of you, let me translate. Sleep. Sleep. Go to bed. Not at midnight, 2, 3, 4, 5 a.m. Get on a schedule. That is your way to be divine. That is your divine order for yourself that he is screaming. He's like, yes. He's like, shout it, shout it. That's the emperor. He's like, tell him, tell him, tell him, tell him, tell him. That is your magic. That is your magic. And for some of you, I'm going to flat out say it. If you want to get your green, you want what you've worked for that's deep down to rise on up and to find out what you're made of. Yes, you can be pissed that you came from poverty. Poverty isn't just money. Poverty is doing without. Poverty is arguing. Poverty is being played into these lower energies. You know, if you want to see what you're made of, this star, get some sleep, get some rest, commit to yourself, get on a schedule. You adamant because you're getting all fierce now. You're like, rah! And I was just coming through me and I'm thinking, uh-oh, girl, slow your roll. But you're like, while we have you, you are going to say it for us. That is how you get your green. And green is life. It is prosperity. It is more than just the money. It is the happiness, the satisfaction, the ease, the solving of the problems, the solution. The solution. That is the solution. And the hermit's old leaning on over here. He's like, I know. And next we have the Four of Wands. Okay, so we're bringing in some order to this passion. We're finding out how to climb the tree, and I see why. Climb the tree. Remember we were talking about that pear, which is good because it's pear season. It's coming in right now. And so it's like being shrouded in this electrical storm called life. The chaos, the confusion, that you're saying the order, the disparate energies of life, the polarizations of it. You have to bear that all the time, and it gets tiring. You're like, it's not like I can walk. I have to hop through life, and you're like, that's exhausting. I'm so tired of this. Well, so here we have the Page of Wands. I'm saying gird up your loins and get moving. I give you permission to run. Give you permission to run in this. Hike up your skirt, pull it on up, throw it over your shoulder, be your own covering, your own mantle, your own decision making, and your rod is sprouting just hearing that. It's like straight up, I can. I'm like, yes, that's your power. That is your power. You know, what if this temple, this beautiful formation that is known as like the Roman numeral 2 symbol of Gemini, is who you are. It's your form. And you have 2 legs, 2 feet, I hope. And you're able to run and go and move in it. You're able to be quick and swift, and you are able to rise up more than most at such a young age. So, and it doesn't matter what age you are. It is never too late to live out your dreams, to live out who you are. But that's part of the power and the passion here. Is it's going to, you're showing me it's going to be kind of like the pumps, you know, where you move the handle and it draws the water. Like you just see the pump and think, oh, what's the big deal? Well, it is connected to a pipe way deep in the ground. It's pulling up that well water. And you'd be happier to pump it up than to have to lower down a bucket and roll it back up. Lower it down and roll it back up. Why? Because that bucket would be swinging everywhere. Instead, the pump has grounded it, it has stabilized it, and it causes it to be quick action. So you're like Red Ryder BB gun here. You're like pump action. Yes, let's get on it and let's bring up the treasures, bring up the gold. Okay, so for some of you, it's your wisdom. It's this essence, this star quality of who you are. It's that golden rule, that golden dragon, like the hierarchy of life coming in, of being your own authority and stepping into what we see here, this leadership role, this knowingness, this power, this longevity, this delicious fruitfulness and abundance, that life doesn't have to be hard, and especially doesn't have to be hard for you, Gemini. I give you permission for it to be easy, for you to run in it and to have your way and to watch yourself be abundant, Because if you are a leader, the greatest leaders are lovers. They are examples. They are the ones who live out what they say through their actions. Because words can fall to the ground, but when we put action upon it, it's more than just potential. It is the converting power. It's like I'd say you break the laws, but you actually cross over and you cause the connection to occur. And what people need to see lived out, just like you would have loved to have seen lived out in front of you, you live out in front of others. And then they're drawn to you. And then you're not having to live in this state of being exhausted with people playing the polar opposites and wearing you out, and you having to see that and be annoyed. People come and seek you out. And look at this new energy. See all this fieriness going on, all this electricity, all this divine magnetic electricity and lightning going on. They light up. They come to you and they ask you for your help, for your advice, for your wisdom, for your share is what they're saying. And that doesn't mean your portion. No, 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 no. We are each meant to enjoy who and what we are and have our own portion. But we can multiply it. You can share a little seed. You can tell them how to do it. Or they can show up and they can practice it unto you, kind of like an apprentice, right? Or you as a mentor. Whatever your passion is, whatever your bent, your gifting is in, okay? But beyond that, I want you to be happy, all right? I want you to be that sort of fruitfulness, to be soothed in your soul, to be nurtured and loved, complete, is what you're telling me. I want you to be complete. I want you to taste the delicious fruit that you are and see that is good, is lovely, it is righteous. That's straight up. That is straight up. Well, Gemini, I hope that worked. I hope that has helped you move through this energy. Because these are energy sessions. It's not me making predictions or anything else. We move through this together and examine the energy going on around us and how we can see it clearly and make our own personal decisions. Because what these are and how they look for you, I don't know. We just step through the energy together, okay? And hopefully that's the cure for this dissatisfaction with life. That no more thrown to the ground. Throw it on the ground. If you hadn't looked that up, look that up on YouTube. That is hilarious, that video. So you don't have to be having fits with life anymore. You step into this green magic. For those of you, the reminder one more time, get on a schedule, get some sleep, and that's where your green comes from. That's where your gold comes from, your magic, your alchemy. Also turning your hopes, fears, and dreams, that white magic, and your blood, sweat, and tears, letting them become real, manifest here on earth. Life says yay to that. They're excited about that, and I hope you are inside too. Pray your spirit and guides help you along this journey of how to navigate these waters here. Wishing you the best, Gemini. This is Joy Sam. Bye for now.